G'day. So I've always wanted in Satisfactory to design and build a worldwide logistics system that links all the biomes together easy and simply. And that is what I've done here with what I've decided to call the Nexus Project. This save file is very basic. It's like a basic logistics template for the world, and I'm going to share the save file for anyone to use. So what I'm going to do is go through what I've done, explain how it works, and if anyone wants to download the save file, they're more than welcome to go ahead. So basically I've got 8 different train stations and spots for belts, plenty of spots for belts. What I'll do is I'll turn off the fog for the rest of this video. Right, yeah, we can see things a bit better. So I wanted to easily link with trains all the biomes. I didn't want to have in the middle a big mega base. It's simply almost like an intersection, and I've decided to just put the hub here. So you'll notice that we go to each major biome, and I'll show you what it looks like on the Satisfactory calculator map in a second. All right. In fact, I'll do that right now. So let's bring that up. This is what it looks like on the Satisfactory calculator map. So it is high in the air on purpose, and we'll go around to the biomes and look what it looks like. I've got at the moment 3 sets of 6 train stations in each biome, and you'll see from this overview that it is perfectly cardinal directions and obviously the 45 directions. Alright, so we've got a set up in the desert here, over in the swamp, in the blue crater, the grasslands, etc. Okay. Alright, and let's go back into the map. Now, there's a few reasons why I've made it high in the air. One is for simplicity, but another one is for map changes during updates. I know that they're going to update the over here in the Northern Ocean. They're definitely going to update this. So the reason why it's high is because I wanted to get above everything, and any map changes will not affect this build. I've simply come down here and put in a train loop, and I've named the stations North 1, North 2, North 3, and for whatever direction they're facing, just for simplicity. Alright, there's no belts or anything going through here, but if anyone grabs this and uses it, it's very simple to put some belts down and do whatever you need to do. Now, I have used mods to build this, but you can use this map without mods. You can simply load it in vanilla and play it as you wish. I used area actions for the majority of it, but putting in the actual the train tracks themselves and the actual train stations, I had to click all these in manually. There is room to put hypertubes and plenty of belts through these central parts, and the train tracks run on the outside. I have put a few test trains through, and the whole system works. And I've added a few basic signals so that the system works. If you do decide to use this, you'll have to add in a few more train signals as you add trains in. The what are they called? The drone ports are here just for later on, because I'll end up building a battery factory somewhere up here. All right, let's go take a quick look at where I decided to place each. Oh, by the way, I've got one hypertube here, and it's just an example of what you could do if you wished. So if I were to go in this hypertube, it would shoot me through the launcher, and then this is mirrored on the other end. So if I come from the other side, I'm going to land about here, and then it'll suck me down into that one and then just plonk you off just there. It's just an example. You can do it any way you really want. And that guy's just a test train, just to test the system. If you do decide to use this map, which will be a link for it in the description, and you wish to just start the game fresh without mods and just use this as a template, if you want to start fresh, if you didn't already know this, go into the options over here on the generator and just come down, and you can actually reset all game progression if you want to start again. And there's a few other options. Right now I'm using the node power cheat, but I have plans the way I'm going to play this map. I'll explain that later. Alright, so one thing I did make sure to do when I was plonking these down in location is I made sure that I did not hit any nodes, any resource nodes at all. So as they come down in each biome, none of these stations hit any of the nodes. And that is basically it. It's just a nice little template for anyone that wants to have a simple logistics system that goes to every biome in the world, all the 8 major biomes. I also built it in a manner in which it can be expanded. So if you are building in this map, and when I am building in this map, I have massive plans for what I'm going to do with this. If you do need to add more train stations, you can simply just add more out in that direction. It's kind of modular in that way. It would be very easy to add more train stations if needed. And that's it. It's a very simple setup. I didn't want to get too fancy with the build because it's basically just a template, a logistics template. You'll see here that that's probably the closest I came to a node, and I've tested it already. A miner fits on there, no worries. And that's it. That is it. Now, the second half of this video is going to be me just quickly going through what I personally am going to do and my plans. So if you're not interested in that, just leave it there, and that's basically it. So what I'll do now is load up what I've been working on. Alrighty, so here we are. This is the same map, except I've done a few things. But first what I'll do is I'll explain my big plans. Alright, so let's go to over here. This is the template, which I've shared the file, very basic. And this is my game. This is my next massive project that I've decided to undertake. What am I doing? Well, the plan is, and I'm sure a lot of people have considered doing this before, and I've considered it. My plan is to use all the resource nodes in the world. Alright, what does that mean exactly? Because technically I could just, using all the resource nodes, what does that mean? That could mean a lot of things. I could literally go around and put miners on every single resource node and feed it straight into a crushing machine, and that would be technically using all the nodes. But essentially I'm going to use all the nodes and make the most complex items I can possibly make and feed them into obviously the crushers, and essentially generate the most amount of points as I possibly can before the game just probably crashes before I even get to that stage. But I'm going to definitely attempt to do it. But the first thing I need to do, and it's another thing that I've always wanted to do, is do the max nuclear build. I wanted to do that previously in update 3. They changed all the recipes. I never did the max nuclear build in update 4 or 5. I did 70 nuclear plants in vanilla. Now I'm doing modded. I am going to do all the nuclear plants. So I've made up a little spreadsheet here. I've seen a few videos. People have already done this build before, and I want to do it as well, because I want this world to run. Even though I'm at the moment I'm using mods with the no power on that to get things going. I'm going to have this running. So the very first thing I'm going to do is do the max nuclear build, and it works out to, as you can see here, 50.4 uranium fuel rods, and that can run 252 power plants. I am going to run 250 power plants for 2 reasons. One reason is because it is a nice number. 250 is a nice number. And also I like to just give it just that little bit more so the machines, so I won't be, so the power will be perfect. I'll overfeed my machines nuclear rods. So it's a fair bit of work, and I have started doing a bit. So over here is the resources I need that I've worked out. And I've got a couple of tables here, very simple machines, how much, or what they're making and what they require. This left side here is for nuclear, for the actual nuclear plants, and this right side here is actually to convert it all into plutonium and then sink the plutonium. So it will be a max nuclear power build with zero waste. That is the plan. So that is what I'm going to do before I do anything. Once I've got the max nuclear build done, I will then work on using every single node in the whole map. I'll try my best until I estimate the game will probably crash before it actually lets me do that. But I'm going to give it a fair old crack. So I'm going to start making videos on that too. Now I know I haven't made a video in a long time, but it's just been my real life situation. I'm waiting for my house to get built and all that stuff. But you can expect more videos to be coming when I move into my house, which should be reasonably soon. Alright, so I think that covers my plans. Let's take a quick look around the world and have a look at what I've done. So this build will be focused on production, but I still want to keep things neat. But I'm not going to go super fancy and awesome looking. And I've been watching a few videos, Stinarchi, Fluxo, you know, all the other Satisfactory players with amazingly looking good looking builds. That's not what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going for simplicity and maximum production. So let's take a look around at what I've done. So I'm going a bit back and forth here. On the spreadsheet, I'm making things green when I've done them. So I've done the quick wire, 12,960 quick wire, and I've done a few of the other oil things. And that is over here, done some oil stuff over here, which is getting put on the train. And I'm also doing the quick wire over here at the moment. And yes, I don't want to have a mega base. I don't want to have a massive mega base. I want to have lots of satellite factories because that will hopefully avoid the game stuttering too much. Because we all know that when you try to build a epic mega base all in one spot, the game doesn't like it. Rightio. Let's go. Let's have a look. All right. So I'm going to just make myself fly a bit faster here. Cool. All right. So here's the quick wire. Right now, I'm just crushing it. All right. So I managed to get it all done, and I'm keeping track of what my belts are doing. I'm going to do systems like this, just a little neat looking thing, 18 times 720, just to keep track. It helps me along the way. I do have the spreadsheet, but actually looking at belts, that sort of stuff is going to help me. So what did we do? I brought in over here a whole bunch of caterium and copper. And what I'm going to do on my factories, this is all going to get walled up and look a bit nicer. But I'm kind of just doing the basic setup. So I'm using 2,940 copper, 2,160 caterium, using the most efficient alt recipes I can. And this is what we're making. All right, so 300 copper sheets, 1,500 wire, and the 12,960 quick wire. Alright, so basically we come in, we use the pure ingot recipes. Now these machines, believe it or not, are all double sharded. Okay, so if I was to do this without power shards, I would have twice as many machines here running. It's kind of crazy. Alright, so all these refineries here are for copper. All these refineries here are for caterium ingots. Alright, and then we come over here, and what I've done is over here, to keep track of my belts, I've done some nice, neat, signs. So 2 times 540. And over here, I've got 8 lines of 750, and I had to swap. I had to put a 3 or 450 there, and I had to swap them over. But this lets me, this method, I'm going to start using it throughout this entire build. It will help me keep track of where all my belts are going. And as you can see, I like to keep all my belts nice and neat. It looks good, and it actually helps with the build. Right, so the wire and the sheets, copper sheets, is just sitting on the belt there, ready to go to another factory. And the quick wire is actually just getting crushed. I'm stress testing the system, I guess you could say. Right, so all of these assemblers are they essentially use 5 times as much copper as they do Caterium. As you can see, they use a lot of copper. But as you know, Caterium is a rare resource and copper is not. And that's what we're doing. Alright. These are all double sharded too. All these assemblers are double sharded. And this last section here, it was a little bit tricky to get the exact numbers. I had to do 240 on each one, and then I had to do a little bit of a strange load balancing thingy here. But I got it done, and now I have the 18 times 720 quick wire. And that actually looks pretty cool. So I might leave that open, and this is obviously all temporary. This is going to get walled up, very basically walled up, and obviously, oh yeah, I have the water stuff under here, and it will look good. Alright, so things are going to go up and down here, and I'll show you how basically I'm doing my belts and things. But first we'll go over to the blue crater. And you'll see this is the first factory I built, and I've actually walled it up. So I'm going to do just some really basic walling to just keep things looking nice and clean, because I want to be focused on production and just a nice clean finished look. Now later on I'll start making videos and go into depth on exactly my setups here, because what I'm doing here is the oil tripling. Everything's double sharded here, so half the machines. And I'm doing some oil tripling, 2 sets of that. But essentially, I'm following the all around my builds. I'm going to have these signs. So using 1,050 oil, we're making 1,000 rubber, and also 180 circles. So I'll go more in depth in how I do all these recipes and things later on, because I'll start doing actual videos in these builds. But for now, just an overview. I've probably already spent too long explaining. Alright, so that's that. Nice and clean looking. Everything's going to be clean, but not super fancy. Alright, lots of big satellite factories. How am I collecting my nodes? I'm just doing it as basic as possible. So here's an example of using the belts. So as you can see, I've just chucked in these, what are they called? Whatever these are called. Alright, I'm just gonna, and as soon as I run out of belt room, I can put another layer and another layer. Like, there is so much room for belts. I predominantly want to use trains, but there is heaps of room for belts. I've brought all the nuclear nodes to one location so far, and load balance, and I'm literally just shoving it in machines for now. But that's just a logistics task. I've got all the uranium in the world in one spot. So to pick items up, I'm just literally doing the most simple looking thing I can do. 3 pure nodes of copper here. I've just got a big old tower. Nothing fancy. I do have power going to it, because eventually we'll have proper power running. 3 pure nodes, smash them straight in there, smash it up to the height, and then boom, straight into the logistics system. Alright, same again. I've brought a pure Caterium node from over here, and this is all we're going to see. Just nice, clean, I guess, whatever you call it. Grabbing the node in a nice, clean way. Boom, straight up, straight into the thingy here, straight into the logistics system, into the Nexus. and away we go. Massive ass belt. So that's my plan. Epic building production. And you can expect some more videos coming. There, I'm grabbing a nuclear node. I'm grabbing a nuclear uranium node from down there. Same method. The only difference between the template is I've actually done, I've kind of brought it all in here to an intersection, and I'm just going to have some belts crossing over and going to wherever they need to go. Alright, so basically I mainly want to use trains, and I'll use, I need to fill this area back in, but that's fine. Mainly trains and belts when I need to. That's it, guys. One last thing I will mention. Yes, we're doing the nuclear build. Plutonium fuel rods. I'll be making, how many of those am I making? 1 second here. I'll be making 22.5 plutonium fuel rods, which is quite a lot. And if we have a look at the plutonium fuel rod here, scroll down. Where are we? Right here. So we can actually sink those for quite a few points, which is excellent. But also the sneaky little thing that I was always aware of it, but I didn't really think of doing it. This here. They can be used as vehicle fuel without producing any waste. So I am going to have a lot of trucks, and I am going to use these. And I'm going to use drones to fill up my truck stations with the plutonium rods, and I'll sink the excess. And if you check it out, one truck can run for 5.5 hours on one of these plutonium rods, and it produces no waste. So I reckon that'll be pretty cool. So let's go back here. So this is the map. So from biome to biome, big biome to biome journeys, I'm going to do like trains, obviously. And then if I want to transport something from, say, this biome, say I'm going to transport something from, this is just an example, I transport something from this biome to this biome, I'm not going to put it on a train, run it all the way to the center of the map and all the way out. My plan is to use trucks, and my plan is to have all my trucks running on plutonium fuel rods, and the trucks are getting stocked up by the drones here. Anyway, I think this video has probably gone for long enough. So, yep, I know I haven't made a video in a long time, but don't worry, I absolutely love Satisfactory. It's a game that I will take breaks from, but I will never stop playing. I will always come back to it, and I have been working on this. I just haven't been making videos because of my my current living situation. Anyway, that's going to be it. Catch us later.